All right, so in CS5, it looks a bit different by default. So for those of you guys that are just getting on there, your default has, under Windows, it has application frame showing, like that. Also, the default is a really dark color. So it's Photoshop, Preferences, Interface, lets you pick the color you want. And you could pick whatever you like. I think the default was this kind of charcoaly color. I'm going to go with this one just because I think I like it closer to how the traditional Photoshop looks. And I don't like this whole application frame thing, so I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to go to Window, Application Frame. I'm going to unclick that. It's up to you. I don't care what you use. If you like that application frame, use it. If you don't like it, get rid of it. Now we're going to go to File, New, and we're going to make a file that is called last name, first name, EX1, and then it's going to be 4 inches by 4 inches and 72 pixels per inch. And the reason we're doing 72 is because we don't want it to be high res, we want it to be the screen resolution so that the file size is not giant. We want it to stay small. So go ahead and name it. So EX1. Now that's going to show pretty small. If you need to see it bigger, remember you can. You can go to View and you can say Fit on Screen, which is going to make it quite large. You can also go up and down using the shortcuts for zoom in and zoom out, Command plus and Command minus. Now the first thing we're going to do is make our heart, and we're going to use the Shape tool, and that's located right under the Type tool. You hold down and you choose the last one, which is the Custom Shape tool. And from there, we're going to choose the heart, which if you go up to the options bar, this bar right here underneath the menu bar, you're going to pick heart. Now the default's an arrow, so you'll see, it says shape and then you'll see your little arrow. Go ahead and choose the heart. And there are, by the way, lots of other shapes through here as well. But we won't use them for now, we'll just use that heart. Now, if you want to draw the heart in proportion, hold Shift and draw out that heart. And then to change the color, it's in the menu bar. You do have to be on the Type or on the Shape tool, and you're going to change it right here. So you're just going to click where you see Fill, and you can choose a pre-existing swatch if you want to, or you could go to the little color picker and you could pick a color for your heart. And then after that, we're going to add a layer style of a bevel emboss to make it look a little bit more 3D. So we're going to go to the layer panel and double click on the blue part of the layer panel on that heart layer. And then we're going to click on to bevel emboss, and you need to have the word in bevel and emboss highlighted blue. So don't just click the checkbox, actually click the 2 words. That gives you the bevel emboss panel that allows you to adjust. And so I'm going to raise up size, and I'm going to raise up soften, like so. And then I'll say OK. Oh, you can also adjust the angle if you want to. So different ones are going to look different. You know, you can just kind of adjust it until you like the look of it, whether it's a really soft shadow or it's a light one. And actually I had it so that I liked it. You can also, apparently this is new, you can drag into the circle, and that adjusts how that bevel emboss is flowing across. Because I had it, if you pull out, it goes way darker and it doesn't blend. If you pull towards the center, then it softens it a bit more. And I'm going to say OK. And now I've got my first heart. Next, position your heart in the center. And now we're going to make a copy of the heart. But we're not going to do an option drag copy because we want the heart, the new heart, to be centered exactly over the original heart. So we're going to drag the shape 1 or the heart layer down into the layer copy button. That's the button right next to the trash can in the bottom of the layer panel. And now you can see that you've got 2 hearts when you look at your layer panel, one on top of the other. Don't move them, keep them still. Now we're going to make the top heart smaller. So click to the top layer and do a free transform. Edit, free transform. It'll give you the free transform path option, but it's still Command T. Hold Shift and Option so that the heart doesn't scale from left to right or right to left. This way it's going to cause it to scale from the center inward. And just make your heart a little bit smaller. And then click the check mark once you have it. Now you'll see a little wire path around the heart. That simply means it's selected. These shapes are different than the shapes that you make with, like, say, the rectangle marquee or the elliptical marquee, because it's vector, so it's defined by paths. And the little wiry looking shape there is the path. Notice if I click to the back heart, the bottom heart, it goes away. So it's not really there. It's just a selection. So we have our hearts for our animation now. We need the 2. And now we're just going to pick a background. And so, because these are kind of fun if you have some sort of a background. So, you know, just find, like in this one I used a pattern. You could really use anything you want. Okay, so now that we have our backgrounds, we're ready, and we have our 2 hearts. We have a large and a small heart. We're now ready to do the animation part. And we're going to go to Window, and we're going to open up the Timeline panel. Now this is the thing that switched between CS5 and CS6. So CS5, it was called Animation, so it lived up here with the A's. But now it's Timeline. So click Timeline, and you'll see that Timeline panel. So Window, Timeline, to open it. Now we're going to use frame animation for this, and the default is set to video timeline. So we don't want video. So go ahead and choose the little arrow right in the little center and switch to create frame. And now to get it to actually switch, you actually have to click one more time right on top of where it says create frame animation. So you guys see where this is? Now I want you to look, because once I do this, it won't let me go back. So, okay, so once you have that timeline open, remember, once again, it's create frame animation. To actually see your frame animation, you have to click it one more time. So just click right on top of where it says create frame animation. Click once. And you'll see a little mini version of your picture. This is your first animation frame. And for the first animation frame, we want just one heart. We just want the large heart. So turn the eyeball in your layer panel, that layer visibility eyeball, turn it off. Okay, so we've got our timeline set into frame animation, and now we've got our first frame set up because we turned the little eyeball off for the very top layer. And now we're going to do the next frame. And so we're just going to copy what we already have. You don't have to drag it to the layer copy box. All you have to do is click the copy icon once. It's the icon that's right next to the trash can in your little timeline. So click once, and now you have 2. And then you can actually click 2 more times, so you have 4. Now we're going to go in, and every other one we're going to make the large heart, or the small heart rather. So go to frame 2, highlight it, and then go to the layer and turn on the small heart and turn off the big heart. Now go to frame 4 and do the same thing again. So we want the small heart and not the big heart. So what we've got now is it's a rhythm of large, small, large, small. And that's our heartbeat. So what we can do, though, is time it. And that way, when it plays, it's going to have kind of a more beat-like sort of effect. And the default is 5 seconds, I believe, although I've already changed mine. So I don't know what do you see when you look at your seconds on your frames? Does it say, 0. It says 0? So 0 would play really fast. You can try it. Go ahead and play it. And right now it's set to once. You can change it to 3 times or forever. Forever is good for this. That's a little too fast, though. So what we're going to do instead, and actually to see the animation, it looks better if you select the background instead of the heart, just so you don't see that little wire frame. So now I'm going to change the seconds, and I want it to be, I would say 0.1 or 0.2, 0.01, 0.1 or 0.2 work good. You could also stagger it a bit if you want it to be, not a regular rhythm, but a more syncopated rhythm. So I might do 1 second and then do the rest at the 0.2. Let's see how that plays. And there's no right or wrong, just whatever you like the looks of. So there, that's just a little bit. One of them is a little bit faster. And we're not going to do a normal save as. We're going to go to File. We're going to choose Save for Web. This used to be called Save for Web and Devices, but they shortened it. So when we get into that, the first screen we see is the original. If we go to the far left option. And then the next one is optimized. And that is, the original is a PSD file. It's your Photoshop file. The optimized is a GIF file. 2 up lets you compare them right next to each other. I'm sorry for my voice there. So you can see your original, and then you can see the optimized GIF. And 4 up gives you the original in the upper left, and then the other 3 are 3 different versions of your file. Now, some of them are using more colors than others, and you can see as you click on each one, it's showing you. So notice this one is using the full 256. This one is using 128. And we've got a difference in file sizes, 106 and 99. This one up here is also using the 256, and it's 117. Sometimes you might need to have a small size file. Say you want to post to a forum, or you want to use, a little animation as an avatar of some sort. It might, the site that you want to post to might require that the file is small. The way to make it smaller is going to be adjust your color down. So you can do that manually. You can go and check it out and say, well, what's it going to look like at 64? It's probably not going to be quite as clear. Sometimes the gradients will have little stripy things in them if you've minimized your color. But, you definitely can make your file size smaller. So this is at 81 now at 64. And then if I go to 32, it drops to 65. So doesn't look quite as nice up close, but not too bad. For this, it's a pretty small file anyways. I don't care which one you choose. Any of the 3 that are GIF files. Don't choose the original. So you want the GIF. And then you want to say save. And pay attention to where you're saving it to. So I'm saving onto my desktop right now for mine. You're naming it last name, first name, EX1. I'm adding P4 just so that I don't save on top of what I've already made. So I've saved it. It's on my desktop. It's right here over in the right edge of my desktop. This original one is still my Photoshop. And I might go ahead and save that too, because once I make the GIF, I won't be able to edit it anymore. For now, I'm going to open up the GIF too, just to show you the difference. So I dragged this into Photoshop just to show it. So notice with the GIF, my layers are no longer separated. They're flattened in each layer. So the background has become part of the image. When I'm back to the original, you can see that, of course, they were all separate. So the thing to remember is once it's a GIF, it's no longer going to be editable. So if you're not finished, don't save as a GIF. Wait until it's completely done. So say I was going to do more to this heart, I would just do a normal file save as. Now to turn it in, and since we are done, I do want you to save it as a GIF. How do you play a GIF? Well, you don't play it in Photoshop. You actually play it in the internet browser. So I'm going to open up, whether it's Chrome or Safari or Firefox, doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and open it up. I'll grab that GIF file and I'm going to drag it right into my browser window. And then I can see that my animation is working. So now that I've tested it, I'm ready to turn it in. Just remember, don't turn in the Photoshop file. Look for the .gif and turn that into the handout folder, and then you'll be good.